Okay, so I've decided to do another video on Satisfactory on Linux. The last one was basically onboarding. This one we're going to be doing actually a tier 7 base. So I copied over my save from Windows. Unfortunately, it does not share the same saved game files. I mean, you have to copy them over manually, so I had to discover where the location was where Proton stores them. It's actually under Steam apps, com data in my home directory. Okay, so here we go. So I found them all. Here's the one I did with experimental, but now I'm using the early access. So we got the offline message here. As you'll see when we log in, we'll have an empty inventory. That's the notorious bug that's actually in the game. It's not specific to Linux. It's just very noticeable in Linux. I'm trying to remember what I have not played this base in a couple weeks. So here you go. Yeah, so you see an empty inventory. It looks like a little bit of a stutter there. Here we go. Coming back. And that's where I had actually logged out. Oh, there is some. There's actually a definite frame drop here. Usually I get about 90 FPS in Windows. Now I'm at about 70. On my video options, yeah. So I don't know if setting these to medium will fix that. I like to play with an average of 100 FPS. Because that means about 95% of my FPS will be 60 or higher. I don't think that actually really made any kind of difference. So there is a little bit of a performance hit. Now, I don't know how to get my body. Can I kill? Oh, did I kill him? Finally. Okay, so there we go. Now I got everything in my... So I have to do that every time I log back. And I want to make sure I know where I'm logging out and saving. It looks like I have unlocked all the stuff already, so I don't have to do any more research, so that's good. So this is my tier 7 base that I had built. We're going to test the performance of this. Well, I like to use hypertubes. Oh man, it's getting down to like 30. So yeah, okay, so I wasn't aware, but yeah, Linux takes definitely a big performance hit the bigger your base gets, unfortunately. Yeah, I definitely did not drop this low in Windows. This is unusual. Most games seem to run just fine right out of the box, so unfortunately with this one it runs pretty decent when you start, but it looks like, and this is installed on an SSD as well, so I don't know if you would have, if it would be better playing it under Lutris, because I've not actually tried Lutris, so I'm also uploading. Am I uploading at the moment? I don't know if that would necessarily make a difference. I don't think it did earlier, so. But yeah, as you can see, the frame does drop down to about 20, which is what I was noticing when playing on a 7200 RPM drive. I don't like to run everywhere now. What am I doing? So we're still averaging above 60 FPS. But like I said, I don't know how to measure the 95%. So I don't know what it is. It's difficult for me to compare that to Windows because I don't know how to measure 95% in Linux. In Windows, I will use CapFrame X. I think this one is the power. Yeah, I had a lot of fun building this. Putting the pumps and stuff was a bit of a challenge, figuring out how this all works. I mean, I'd played for, 500 hours or something before this, and I was like, I didn't realize that there's a burn rate, and then there's a peak burn rate, which caused a lot of confusion. Because anytime the power went out, I would just go ahead and build more coal generators, right? But I didn't realize that the closer you get to peak performance, the more coal that it uses. So I had a really rough time getting the water to work. And this is all coal power, 2400 kilowatt. I didn't even get to gasoline yet. I mean, it feels like there's a little bit in the hypertubes. It's not that big of a deal because you can't really move around at the moment. But definitely going through this base. I mean, like on Windows, I would never drop to 16 FPS. That just didn't happen. To go below 60, I don't think it even went below 60, to be honest. Windows, if it did, it may have been like 54. But it was definitely 95% of the time it was above 60 FPS. So there is a little bit of a performance penalty when running it under at least the Proton, Steam's Proton. I haven't actually tried Lutris, so I'm not sure if that's going to be different. I did watch a video earlier, somebody playing it through Lutris, and the video that wasn't showing for me during the launching, or the landing rather, that played for him, so that was very interesting. So I mean, see, now it's acting really smooth. It's smoother than I thought. I mean, there was a little bit of a dip there, but I get that dip in Windows too when entering and exiting these hypertubes, and I think it seems to be worse. Oh man, look at that. That's terrible. That did not happen on Windows. You saw that. That was really bad. I'm pretty sure an upload is not going to affect my computer in any way. And if I remember, this was only dual core. I don't know if that may have something to do with it. You were using only 2 cores, it looks like. And again, 21% of memory. So it's barely using any memory. It doesn't seem to fully utilize that second core. Oh, it actually went above. But it didn't do much. But yeah, so like, wow, it's 52. Yeah, so there's definitely a performance penalty when you get to tier 7. At the very least, using it on an SSD through Steam's Proton version 5. I feel like I'm very spoiled with these hypertubes. Now, others, may consider this to be very playable. Personally, if it's not 60 FPS 95% of the time, I find it very difficult, because to me, it's like the stutters are very noticeable. And if it was just, a little bit here and there, Because it does stutter on Windows too, but it still reaches 60 FPS 95% of the time. So I'm willing to overlook it. But here I feel like it's definitely a lot more noticeable. That doesn't mean that you're not going to find it unplayable. Obviously, yeah, 49 FPS up there. That would be, and of course the stutter when opening up a menu still occurs. Kaboom, baby. Oh, we got spiders there. So yeah, see, this is affecting my ability to snipe. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I don't play with arachnophobia. So if you have arachnophobia and you're watching this, well, it's just too bad, buddy. Look at that thing. Rawr. I haven't built a jetpack, even though I'm tier 7 here. I think I was going for aluminum last time I played. Seem to leave these all over the place. Yeah, see, like there, especially when you get into fights. There is a stud. Look at that. I suspect it has something to do with reading from disk. Other games do not have this particular issue. So I don't know if it's necessarily like it could be wine related, it could be Proton related. I don't know if you get the same issue with Lutris. But yeah, that quite a few stutters there. But again, you're playing on like one of those new 8-core laptops. You can get away with it, I guess. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. So the main thing is, the main thing is to remember where you logged out with the save, because you start off in your base as a new character, and if you don't know where you logged out, you could potentially lose. You could potentially lose your items. That has happened to me when I was carrying the hub. I wanted to test it, and I thought I knew where I logged out, and that did not turn out to be the place where I logged out. And so I just ended up starting a new game. So I'm definitely a bit of a hoarder, so like, as you can see, I carry a lot of junk on me. Which, only a little bit of it is really necessary. This is my oil setup here. Yeah, they've really changed the way you did oil. Before I used to, truck this in to the base, but you can no longer use trucks to carry oil. So I had to build everything on site. And now that they have these liquids, you have these rubber oil residue that you have to deal with as well. Right now, I just have it getting dumped into the sink, and apparently there's not any of it coming out. I don't know if my oil production is shut down at the moment. Is my power still on? Yeah, the power is still on. Oh, it's because I got too much plastic. Okay, so my plastic is really backed up. That's right, because I've got a couple things turned off in my main base right now. Because of the power requirements, I've not messed with the gas. I gotta mess with the gas. So that's the limiting factor. I kind of maximized the coal. Ended up really maximizing the coal because it's actually a lot simpler to calculate and things like that. But that's pretty much it. You know, as you can see right now, it's just no frame loss, frame drop, not much compared to like Windows. But as you saw, at certain times, like I would never get 40 FPS in Windows. So, but it's definitely specific to this game because I've played other games on Linux, and they don't have any. The performance in Linux is the same as the performance in Windows. But I think what it is, there are some performance issues on Windows, and I think they're exaggerated on Linux. Like they're even worse. So if they were to fix them for like maybe we'll see it fixed here. But then again, it could be a problem with Proton or Wine. It has nothing to do with the game itself. I have no idea. Because I'm not a dev. But like I said, if your only operating system is Linux, you can get away with it. I mean, I might have a hard time because the stutters everywhere, but someone else, watching this video. Well, the other thing is I'm not capping at 30 frames per second too. I don't know what difference so I turned VSync off because I like to get maximum. My frame rate's above 60, 95% of the time. So I don't know if capping the frame rate. Sometimes in Windows, if you have stuttering issues, capping the frame rate to 30 fixes those. Like for example, like Wolfenstein, it's terrible on AMD cards, even though it's like a 2014 game or something like that. I usually cap the game at 30 to stop all the ridiculous screen tearing, and the FPS issues that go along with it. So that might be a fix, but yeah, see, it drops to 40. So if you frame cap to 30, I'm sure a lot of the stuttering will actually end up going away. It's only a couple times that it'll go to like 20 or even below that. Yeah, see right now it's 46. So if I capped it at 30, none of those stutters would be there. So that's thoroughly an option. The other thing is sometimes I'll cap to 30 if I want to play with ultra graphics. Yeah, see, like, that's really bad. That went down to, like, 1. Yeah, see, now it's stuttering. So, yeah. So, again, I don't know what specifically causes that. I think it may have to do with reading. I forgot. What is the command to read I/O? I can't remember. I was looking at it recently. It would tell you what disk would write. I'll have to look at that, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with either writing or reading. When it spikes, I was noticing some stutters, and it was worse on the 7200 RPM drive. I'm running this on an SSD, so that's basically it. I think that's video's long enough. Oof. Yep. So, hope you found this video informative. If you have any comments, please leave it down in the comments section, and fly safe.